Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a winner. Congratulations to Machina for winning out the Season 2 starting point vote. By one vote, mind you. You better buckle up, people. Season 2, we're going for a ride. Now on to today's episode. We return to the Mighty Dragoon. Now, some of you may be asking, whoa, hold on, what the fuck happened to the audio quality? Now, the dumbass that I am, knowing that there are certain life events going on, I was forced to use a different setup than what I would normally use for recording my openings. Now, the video quality has been up and down during the episodes, but the audio quality has always been consistent. This time around, however, this is something that I simply cannot fix, as I am forced to use older hardware because I am recording from a different location. So the audio quality will remain the same for the rest of the episodes for openings, but it will get fixed for, any other talky stuff that I do. Back to opening. For possibly the last set of cards we'll ever open. Not necessarily the last time, but the last set. Time is counting down quickly. At this point, we've reached a cat. Cat would like to say hi. You know what? Here. There you go. You're in the episode now. Are you happy? Are you happy? Well, shit. We are approaching the final few episodes, and I wanted to make sure that we get as much power as possible for our money, given that time's running out. So for this episode, we're actually going to be opening 3 Structure Deck Spirit Charmers. We'll only open one on camera because you've probably seen this a million times before, but it does have some absolute powerhouse cards that we want to have, as well as 3 packs of Secret Slayers. Yep, we're going looking for the Golden Boy. Maximum Gold gave us absolutely none, despite having opened a case and a half almost. Let's dive right in now that the cat has not gotten her claw stuck on the couch, in case you were wondering. Wow, I just absolutely destroyed this, didn't I? Oh well. The box this time around, I don't care much for saving. I have more of them. Let's get rid of that. Let's give this a looky, shall we? Because I actually do kind of like this artwork. Though I'm very surprised why only half of it has artwork. Why would you only put artwork on half the playmat and then just put that on the other half? It feels like they didn't want to upscale it to make it look bad or something. I don't know. Regardless, this is what we're actually after. But these packs actually come with alternate artworks for all the Charmers, and they're different in each structure deck for those that don't know. Let's give that a look, shall we? There is Familiar Possessed Ozza, as well as we got the token with 2 of them just hanging about, cleaning their house, I guess. Neat. Sorry about that cut, but we've had major issues, and let me explain why. So, since the last opening happened, there's been about 2 months. I opened the last set in early January, is where I got the Echo package. And you might remember that we've had some issue with dogs. Quite a lot of them, in fact. We're now in late March, as I'm doing the recording for these, so now you sort of have a time span on what's been happening here. The dogs have multiplied. There used to be 2 of them, there are now 8. You can probably guess that I'm not very happy about it. The cat isn't happy about it either. So the cat has now been placed in the bedroom where she will gorge on food and not be in the way of cardboard. Hooray! Let's have a quick look through these, shall we? Here is Awakening of the Possessed Neophyte Archfiend. So these cards you've probably seen about a million times before, so I'm just going to skip them over. Raigeki is one of the cards we actually wanted to have access to, not necessarily because we'll run it, but because having it is great. Possessed Partnerships is not for us, then this, and this are all the Charmers. This, Gigabyte and Artfire, Ranyu, Fairy to Sleeper, Rella, Luna, Aruru, Dorado, Witch of the Black Forest. Second card we're after, Effect Veiler, meaning essentially, since I'll open 2 more of these off screen, we'll have a completed playset of Effect Veiler. Very nice. Dakosenka, Awakening of the Possessed. This is a card that I've wanted to experiment with, but I don't think it has a place in the deck, unfortunately. Terraforming we already own, Book of Eclipse, Stone Twister we already own. This thing. Dark Ruler, no more. We've been needing this for the last 10 episodes or so. Just being able to beat through a board full of negates that we normally can't get through is going to be a life changer. Then we have all the spiritual arts. We have a metaverse, which we won't be using. A dimensional barrier. Solemn Warning is a great card. Possessed, and then some code cards that nobody cares about. So, realistically, from that entire package of cards, there's only 4 things that we really, really want. Solemn Warning, which is solid backline in case we make a swap now with Secret Slayers for a more backline-oriented deck. Dark Ruler no more to beat through boards that we normally had no chance against. Effect Veiler, because it is in fact Effect Veiler. And possibly a Raigeki. These 4 cards, of course, along with their 2 other copies that are over in that direction, will be making their way into the deck. But now let's dig into Secret Slayers. So, if it's a shock to anybody, what we want from Secret Slayers is Eldritch himself. Eldritch will help us with all of the hard removal that we normally lack in the deck. And as you can see from the duels, most of the time we lose, it's because we can't remove a threat on the board. Eldritch does exactly that. Let's have a looky, shall we? Shirume, Princess of Autumn Leaves. Hellebore the Rika Fairy. A Nine-Tailed Fox. Rock Bombardment. And Rika Sheet. Only Rikas in that pack, that's unfortunate. Almost all of the cards we want, except for Cursed Eldland, are secrets, which is very unfortunate, but it is the best chance we have of getting them. Koakimeru Guardian, Adamascitator Lapitute, Talia, Princess of Cherry Blossoms, Galaxy Cyclone, and a Rika Sheet. Again, double Rika Sheet. That's not fun. Why does it have to be Rika Sheet? Come on. Adamascitator Crystal Leonite, Adamascitator Resonance, Adamascitator Crystal Dragite, Koakimeru Wall, Rika Glamour. We're playing a Rika deck, boys. Unfortunately, nothing in these 3 packs of Secret Slayers, but we have a couple of episodes left of them, and hopefully, if the package could arrive, Rise of the Duelist. But we gotta wait for that package to arrive to even have a chance on that. Regardless, that will be it for today's opening. Even though our only real power cards comes from the structure decks, just having access to this bad boy is going to change so much. So I'll see you guys in deck building. So for today's first duel, blink and you'll miss it. Our opponent is going to start us off here by doing, well, Alistair stuff. He activates Magical Meltdown, drawing Alistair to his hand. Alistair, of course, coming down onto the field. We decide to imperm it to make sure he can't go into any fusion plays. He links off into Artemis, activating Invocation from hand anyway because he's a good invoked player, getting himself a Mechaba. The effect of Invocation, of course, draws it back to the hand as he activates Nadir Servant to get Fleur-de-Lis, special summoning Fleur-de-Lis onto the field, and then using Ecclesia's effect to special summon Ecclesia. He then doesn't activate Ecclesia's effect for some reason, passes turn to us, and we go, okay, sure. We'll activate our Shaddoll Fusion, going into Apkalon in order to shut down his Mechaba permanently. And then he just times out. We have a scoop for the first time in a few episodes again. That's unfortunate, but I will take my free 2-star chips, and I'll see you around, bud. For match number 2, however, we're not getting away quite that easily. Our starting hand is pretty garbage, as well as our opponent decides to go first and just pass his turn. And then I'm immediately thinking, oh, this is Mech Knights. I'm going to keep passing turn. So this is where I'm going to plug my Patreon. If you would like to support me in any shape, way, or form outside of YouTube, and perhaps spare me a coffee or two, the Patreon link is down in the description below. We also have YouTube memberships. YouTube memberships give you the same benefits as Patreon does. And you also get cool shit on Discord, and you get to see sneak previews of Season 2. So if that's your thing, check out the links below. Also, we'll now passed for about 5 turns in a row, and I'm going, okay, one of us is going to have to act soon. But guess what? Nobody does. We're now on turn 12, nobody's played a card yet, and we draw into Magical Meltdown, which we decide to fire off, which of course gets ashed. We then activate Monster Reborn to bring a beast back from the grave. Normal summoning our dragons so we can link them off into our Predapine Verti Anaconda in an attempt to get Dragoon. We attempt to do so, but of course, we get hit with an Imperm. After that, we simply set our own Imperm, activating Shaddoll Fusion to go into Winda, hoping that he won't really have any Mech Knights to go off of it. Ariel's effect banishes 3 random cards from his graveyard. We strike him for 2,200 points of damage and pass our turn to our opponent. Our opponent then just looks at his hand, and decides he's had enough. Okay. Game number 2, and we have absolutely no fucking idea what we're playing against, but our starting hand is glorious. 3 Shaddoll Fusion, Ink... I got nothing, guys. We also draw into a Super Poly for turn, so we're back to passing turn, back and forth again. Can you guess that this is going to happen a bit? But we do decide to go off early this time, activating a Shaddoll Fusion, which gets ashed, yeah. We then go off with our effects, but we get Effect Veilered on our Construct, but we still get our Trick Clone back, and we draw a card thanks to Beast's effect. However, we just normal summon our Falco, and we will attempt to go into the Dragoon again, simply because, why not? We pay our 2,000 points of life, and we get Impermed, which we probably should have seen coming, to be fair, but hey, what else were we going to do with our turn, knowing that we only have a Super Poly? We do strike our opponent for 3,300 points of damage, however, as it is the best we can muster on an empty field. We then set 1 card, pass back to our opponent, and maybe he'll play something this time? A Cyber Dragon. Okay. Linking off, or fusion summoning into Mega Fleet. Normal summoning Ash Blossom. Linking off into Predaplant? I think not, sir. Super Poly away so we can get our own window onto the board and our opponent scoops up, and I have no fucking idea what we just played against. For match number 3, however, we are going up against something that I haven't seen in a long time. Generaiders. Our opponent activates Terraforming, going into Generaider boss stage, normal summoning Shadow of the Generaider, or Lopter. I am not going to be able to pronounce half of these, so excuse me while I do my worst attempt. However, he does activate his Mega Fusion summoning spell, Shaddoll that I forget the name of, that brings out every single Generaider possible, going into Jormungandr, activating boss stage, activating more of his spells that I can't remember the names of because who the hell plays Generaider? Essentially speaking, he is completely wrecking our ass at this point, forcing us to ditch a monster card from our hand, which we do as he fills his board with incredibly powerful non-extra deck monsters, except for Jormungandr. He passes turn and then boss stage activates, meaning he gets his Generaider tokens that he's able to tribute for effects using his Generaiders. Also very angry dogs. We activate our Harpy's Feather Duster, hoping for the best, but it gets solemned, which is unfortunate, but meaning if we can get into a Dragoon here, we could end the game. We are forced to set 1 card in order to activate Super Poly, getting rid of Jormungandr as it's our best target here going into Shekinah, setting a dragon face down. Unfortunately, we attempt to use our Clown's effect, which gets negated, which we attempt to negate using Shekinah, which gets negated again as we attempt to use our El Shaddoll Fusion to get targets in order to do a fusion summon. Unfortunately, when the chain resolves, we have no applicable target, and it simply fizzles, activating Shekinah's effect, which gets negated, or not negated, sorry, but Har manages to pitch the monster card that we needed, and at this point, he overlays into Fantaforce's Inflambrumtru and simply steps on us, taking game 1. Game number 2, we have now sighted in the 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, as well as Raigeki. We do force our opponent to go first yet again, hoping he won't be able to do much in response to what we have, as our hand is pretty good this time around. He plays boss stage. The normal summons his Lopter and then activates the effect of boss stage to get a Har with his 2 face downs and then creates 3 Generaider boss tokens. This is gonna be an issue. We do attempt to go for the Raigeki, which gets immediately countered, unsurprisingly, as he special summons the Utgarda, or whatever the castle's name is. We attempt to Red Eyes Fusion knowing he has no more negates available, but it gets ashed. Ah! At this point, he is able to basically pop off his Generaider plays once again with no real issues whatsoever. Because what are we going to do to stop him? Our face down window is not going to do much. Special summoning all of his level 9s in order to once again go into the plane of whatever the name is, and then simply walking over us. I will be completely honest in this matchup though, I had no idea how to play against this because I've not seen Generaiders in a heck of a long time, but hot damn are they a cool archetype, and I want to build a deck of them like right now. Oh well.
Well played last week. A clean sweep is no small feat. But with the loss under your belt already, will you claim victory over your patron? This week you are taking on Zuikaku, who is playing what we decided to call engines. What will it be, risk or reward?
I've been a 60 card pile of crap before, bring it on.
You got it, best of luck.
So for the viewer duel of today, we're playing up against what we have named engines, which is essentially every single possible engine we could cram into one thing, and oh god, it's a disaster. Zuikaku will play an Alistair, getting Invocation to hand, linking off into Almirage, into Secure Gardna, and activating Invocation to get into Mechaba. What a shocking surprise. Then activating Elixir of Black Awakening in order to summon Eldritch, getting Invocation back to the deck to add Alistair, and passing turn to us. We decide to activate our Magical Meltdown, which is, the best play we can do, as Zuikaku falls for the classic why do I not read cards, attempting to negate the fusion, which can't be done thanks to Meltdown. Construct gets summoned, starting off our usual combo, and you can probably guess where it's going from here. If you can't guess by this point, I don't think you've been watching the series, even closely, because it's been the same thing for quite a while. However, our combo does go off uninhibited, as you can see, with Zuikaku being unable to respond thanks to the fact that, he wasted his only negate trying to negate a Shaddoll fusion. I'm still on you for this, by the way. One day our viewers will learn, but we decide to flex a little bit knowing this as we go into Boral Sword for no apparent reason whatsoever, linking off into Predapat Verti Anaconda, going for our Invocation to get Mechaba onto the board in case he does have something, which he doesn't. We activate the effect to summon our Daddy Dragoon, and he scoops. Game number 2 is not quite as great for us as our opening hand is terrible, and we're forced to go first, so we simply activate our Red Eyes Fusion going into Dragoon, setting our Squamata and passing turn, hoping that there is no response whatsoever from a deck with 4 engines. He normal summons Wendy and activates Super Poly, and now we know how it feels for all of our opponents that fall for the same trick. Winda gets Special Summon out, which brings out Beast thanks to Wendy's effect, activating Meltdown in order to get into Alistair, setting 1 card, setting no extra card because it is indeed a golden land. So it is Eldritch Shaddoll Dogmatica invoked. Don't make me have to say that again. We do decide to Kaiju off the Winda off the board, flipping open Squamata in order to pop the face down Beast, preventing him from drawing any more cards than necessary. Normal summoning the Hedgehog, attempting to go into Predapat Verti Anaconda to get our into anything, really. Dragoon's dead, so we activate our Shaddoll Fusion to go into Apkalon, which we use to shut down Golden Land, because in this specific scenario, it's probably the best thing we can do. Ariel banishes 3 random Shaddoll cards from his graveyard, because it's the only real targets in there, there's no Eldritch, as we beat over the Gamma Seal using our Apkalon, attacking for 500 points of damage using Anaconda, and passing turn back. We know there's an Eldritch in that hand, but Nadir's Servant comes out, popping Entis popping Golden Land to activate Golden Land's effect to send Hakero, then special summoning Dogmatica cards, and oh my god, what have we gotten ourselves into? Fleur-de-Lis gets special summon, which shut down the battle protection of our Apkalon. Attacking with Fleur-de-Lis, of course, gives 500 attack to all Dogmatica monsters, and it beats straight over our puny Shaddoll monster. We do get a Hedgehog to hand, which we activate the effect of to pop a Conquistador, which is just going to build his advantage even further, unfortunately. He passes turn to us, activating both Conquistador and his, Guacamole, setting a Black Elixir as well as a Scarlet Elixir. We draw for turn a Damage Juggler. Yeah, game 2's over, buds. Game number 3, and it's time to risk it for the biscuit. We are once again going second, but our starting hand is god-awful. Starting off with a Cursed Eldland, of course, to fetch the Golden Boy himself, and why couldn't we pull a Golden Boy this episode? Regardless, the effects start chaining off as he now has 2 traps in the graveyard, summoning Ecclesia, which we decide to hit with the Imperm to make sure that he doesn't get anything to feed off of Eldritch this turn. Unfortunately for us, he does get the Elixir and sets 2 of them, meaning no matter what we try to do here, he is going to be able to bring that Eldritch back, which we wanted to get back using Monster Reborn. Oh well. What can we do? It is special summoned, and we go to our main phase, and we're forced to set a monster and a bluff card and pass. Yeah, this hand is absolutely goddamn awful, unfortunately, and there's not much we can do about it. The trap effects start chaining off, setting a Conquistador in the back, switching the Eldritch to attack position, and here comes the beatdown. Eldritch goes in first, activating our Squamata's effect, and we just decide to pop Ecclesia here, as it's probably the correct choice because Eldritch can just come back. We draw a Wendy for turn, which is awful. We know there's a Conquistador in the back, but we have to do something to pop it. We don't have an option here, really. We go for our Predapat Verti Anaconda, and of course, it gets immediately slapped with a Conquistador. Yikes. We do get our Trick Clown back, of course, but it is not going to help us in the slightest for now. We pass the turn back knowing that there's nothing we can do as another Elixir gets activated, summoning a Ghost Bell for disrespect. But hey, he could now Synchro for 8, so why not? Normal summoning the Feed Ash Blossom for even more disrespect in order to use both Ghost Girls to go into his own Predapant Verti Anaconda, activating the effect of his Eldritch in hand in order to kill our clown, which I decided not to bring back, now having 2 Eldritches on board with Dragoon incoming, and yeah, we didn't stand a chance in this one. This all came up to the draws, and the draws failed us miserably. But thank you for coming on to the show. Your patron support is much appreciated, and yeah, I don't know. I got my ass beat. What can I say? On the plus side, however, we end this episode with a 1-2-1 streak, which is weird, but we do come out with a single starship to our name, and with the final counting down, we'll take what we can get. But as always, if you enjoyed this episode, remember to leave a comment down below, press the like button if you know you want to, and hey, if you watched this far, why not comment, I don't know, Meatball? Let's go with Meatball, fuck it. As always, stay safe out there.